Hello, this is Alina YX Lin here, and welcome back to episode 7 of my Amplified Forever world. I am unfortunately experiencing some technical issues, which I only discovered during editing. So this means that I have 40 minutes of footage where I was talking to myself all along. The video is still there, thank goodness, but the audio is dead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a time lapse of the process and hope you enjoy. Before the music kicks in, I will be doing a quick after recording explanation of what is going on here. So we are trying to build the first building of the Art Academy of Lithos. And the initial plan was to create this first building with minimal clearance between the building and the walkway. However, this turned out to be a bit messy because otherwise the walkway will be pretty much blocked, and we would have done the walkway from the previous episode for nothing. So that is sad. So we had a change in plan midway through this episode where we decided to make this first building the historic building of the academy. So it looks very broken, and as you might have heard from the A008 series, which talks about Lithos lore, the summary is that Lithos people don't like to demolish their buildings because they would believe that buildings have souls in them, imbued by their architects, and by demolishing the building, they are permanently dislocating the soul, which is something that goes really much against their culture. So the conclusion of this story is that they start to leave the old buildings as ruins just at there. So we will be doing this as example for the historic academic building. We're going to leave it in ruins. And this is a pretty much an improvised decision, but hey, it turns out pretty nice. Then there's me trying to experiment with all sorts of combinations between stairs and walls to create an intricate window pattern. As we can see here, there's like so much experimentation that's going on, and we're trying to pick the best one. Sometimes the big circle in the middle is too big, sometimes it's too small, but eventually it turns out alright. So it's not a waste of time. And I also eventually decided to cook up a black stone frame, but I'm not going to use it for the historic building. We're going to use it for the newer buildings because looking at the black stone frame would detract the attention from the diorite masonry. So we're going to keep it only diorite and no black stone for the historic building, and we're going to use black stone and diorite for the newer buildings. This should hopefully offer us sufficient contrast and enough visual interest for the academy. Now, let's get the music. and use it to complete this building here, which will be intact. In fact, this will be one of their new big buildings that they use frequently. So let's get to it. Again, we're going to follow the same pattern and be going up here 6 blocks, but instead of using balsa, we'll use diorite because we will be framing it using black stone, and that should offer sufficient contrast. So without further ado, let's chisel the block designs and get ourselves started. I am aware that the clearance is a bit low, but I think it is manageable. Okay, this is slightly different. 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's a 5 wide and a 5 deep. Sounds good. 3, 4, 5. Let's turn around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basalt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basalt. Turn around again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basalt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basalt. Man, that's a big one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's the whole thing. Looped out. Next step is to get all the pillars in place. We know the drill. And then we expect the door to be here, so let's break these and replace it with stairs. And let's do the flooring. Where is my stash of basalt? It's here, okay. Let's do with this. It is getting dark. So it's almost like this part of it will be a little annex. That's kind of separated from everything else. But before we finish the flooring, it seems like it's time for bed. Also, I would appreciate for the pots to look a bit more trodden by minimizing the amount of snow that is on the pots, because it just doesn't make sense. String to reveal the floor patterns, and we're out of string. Okay, have to get more from the base then. But hey, at least we get to deal with the floor pattern here. A simple twisty pattern with something that's in the middle, and here we can do that same twisty pattern but make it a lot bigger.
That's the flooring done. Oops, I missed something here. And the next step would be to do all the fancy windows like we did here. Let's do the diorite layer first. Let me grab a stone cutter that is in my reach of convenience. Here we got one. One's enough, thank you. Cut up a abominable amount of diorite. And an abominable amount of diorite walls. Supplement our supplies. And I believe that we are ready to start doing the walls. As a reminder for myself, I do these first, then I do these. I stand outside and do these. I make the lower arches. Then I make this there. And then I believe it's like this. So we got the windows done reasonably quickly. I'm seeing clearance become an issue here. Clearance is always a problem amplified when the mountains have like so little space between them and you're trying to cram a lot of builds inside the mountains. That's when clearance starts rendering itself as a problem of urgent attention. So even though I am using chisel mods to help with texturing, a lot of these geometric designs that I make here are actually pretty transferable to vanilla, especially these X-shaped windows. They transfer reasonably easily. You can pretty much replace these concentric diorite circles with the chisel stone block and still have the thing make sense. Make this thing out of stone and it should retain its shape. So if that's something of interest, you should comment and I could give you more details about how I do something if it's a bit difficult to see from my video recordings. We are completely out of diorite stairs for the first time today. Cut some more up. How do I do the entrance for the old building? And why is there a bunch of diorama on the columns, even though it's supposed to be basalt? Let me fix that real quick since this is hurting my OCD. Let me check if I skipped anything while I was doing replacement yesterday. Seems like I didn't. Hopefully. I was here to check how the entrance worked. Just the top parts. Okay, sure. Let's do it then. Keep it like this. And then that renders the inner layer of the first floor complete. Let's place our staircase up to the second floor. It's nighttime. Every time I see the light change from warm to cold, I know it's nighttime. That's one thing I like about this complementary, what I'm using, Unbound texture pack. Not texture pack, shaders. I keep stumbling, is it Unbound or is it Reimagined? I'm using Unbound. It looks pretty dramatic, and I like how dramatic it looks because, hey, who wouldn't like some drama? That's a pun. What I was meaning to say is that, like, I mean, we aren't intending for lithos to be completely realistic. It is a fantastical place where people have like pretty different culture and beliefs to our conventional world. So it's more of a fantastical place, I would say. And doing crazy shaders with fantastical places just seems like the right move to do, to be fair. We're just going to place the little roof for the first floor in, so it gives us easy access to the higher blocks when we need to add the pillars. We are running into a bit of a clearance issue here, but hopefully it should work out. A bit close to pagoda, but I mean, it's a city, so everything is closely packed. So hopefully this should turn out alright. Fortunately, we have another stack. Now we can hop ourselves to the first floor to get some black stone brick walls. There seems to be a lot of these, so we're just going to use them up first. Okay, I have some in stock. You say there's 118 or something like that. Okay, rest of it probably not easily accessible, so we'll stick with what we have. Then we talked about using black stone pillar up on the top and down at the bottom. We've already talked about this when I was trying to design this for the old building, and it didn't turn out as old as it's supposed to look, and it's kind of breaking the contrast somehow. So we decided to screenshot that design and keep that design for this building here, which is the new building. This creates a bit more detail than just the basalt walls can convey, which is one thing I like about this method of adding walls. I need more blackstone. Excuse me. Ow. Fortunately, I was prepared enough for this place to leave a way for me to get back up, because otherwise it would be a pain in the bottom. This part is all sorted out. We were trying to solve this place when we slipped off the ice. Oh, and I broke it using an unsilk touch pickaxe. Great, great, great. Also, don't you all find it frustrating when a creeper blows up on a frozen peaks biome? I mean, it's very niche, I know, frozen peaks are rare, but this does not change the fact that it's annoying because the packed ice just never drops. I was actually pretty frustrated when these things happen. I mean, I probably have some packed ice in storage. In fact, I have like 9,000, but it's still annoying when the packed ice is not right next to me because I can't get it. Because most of the packed ice is in my massive storage facility, and that's just because I don't want to waste shulker boxes packing them up, because shulker boxes take a significant amount of time to get, and why is there missing one thing here? Okay. The next step is to do the details for these extra blackstone pillars, and then it is connected to two walls, and then we get to do the little stairs thingy one level higher than the diorite stairs. Oh gosh, visibility is gonna be a challenge because it's all dark. Like, how do you see it? This should work. I'm gonna hang it in the middle. It's going to look super illuminated and cool and stuff. I'm a bit ambivalent what to do for the center here. Seems like we're running out of blackstone at a pretty fast pace. I'm liking how this looks so far, since it looks like it has variety. And then we can hang the lantern and it will look good. It already looks kind of good. Let's see, I should have a bit of iron somewhere so we can have some lanterns to actually try this out. Yes, we do have it. I mean, this is not going to cut it for the entire building, but I just want to see if it actually looks as good as I'm expecting it to look with lanterns. Just grind these down to nuggets and we'll be able to craft exactly 9 lanterns. Equip my torch because I don't like darkness. Oh my, that's actually looking really good. Like, it's got its personality, let's say. Looking pretty freaking cool, I would say. So let's do it for the entire side, shall we? We needed some more blackstone pillars. Doing these will be a bit tricky since they're close to the middle of nowhere. See, now like the light is golden, but in a while the light will become like cold. It's still warm. Now it's pretty much gonna turn to cold anytime. The reason why you see a big sequence of respawn points set is because I am running between, I mean, there's 2 beds, that's the first thing. The second thing is that I am a bit multitasking recently because we need more stairs than this. Because I am trying to do the north side of Lower Lithos in my own time, and that's causing like me running between the 2 places, and in the 2 places there are different beds respectively, so that's causing a bit of issues with beds apparently, and that's essentially why I have so many respawn points set. Doing this out will be a bit awkward because it folds in upon itself. So there is a stair that we actually don't know which way it orients. Let's just figure out the rest of the thing first before taking a look at which way the stair should orient itself in. That goes this way. Let's just do it like this. Break this. And that should be good. Remembering to hang lanterns. Since I crafted them, let me use them. I'm really excited to see how this turns out. Really, really excited. I think we are almost out of blackstone walls. No, that's deep slate. This side will be narrow, but I'm just going to treat this like any other side because why not? Got ourselves a very cool looking exterior now. I am very happy with how this turned out. The next step is to do this for the second floor. But before we do this for second floor, let us pave the ground of the second floor. Let's grab this off the basalt of it. Thank you. And let's figure out how high we want the annex to be. Because I kind of want this middle area here to eventually top off in a big tower. So let's just make the annex 1 floor high. It's gonna have a white roof, so I need more diorite than what I already have. Cut it up. And I need some more diorite because I need to do some decor. I think the prism texture was borrowed from Prismarine, but I mean, hey, it looks cool, so why not? We're going to trim out of Blackstone. And because this is a narrow section, we're only going to trim using 1 block wide. So this will all be white. It's not the largest roof out there, but a small roof does the job. Last block. Make it clear that this is the boundary line. Last block is going to be black. In the middle we have the white. I should complete the roof since we aren't looking for anything too complex, since we do want to highlight the centerpiece of this building, which is the big square part of it. Now we are ready to do the flooring. Again, with some basalt, let's trim it over. We actually kind of want there to be a center where there is no flooring for the second floor, and then we can just loop all over it. And we can imagine this building kind of being like an auditorium or like a gathering place where they listen to guest speakers and all that. By changing up the corner here and lining this up between the basalt pattern blocks. This side there is a big staircase, but we could make two into it. Oh, and it starts to snow. Great. And let's line up with, I hate when my floor patterns get snowed on, but it keeps happening. Help. At least we know what we're doing. Loop this over. Ow. Looping this over. And that should create an adequate second floor. Now we're going to do the beams that reach up to the third floor. 3, 4, 5, 6 pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 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 pattern. Is it thundering anywhere? The sun's setting, I see. We'll get to that in a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. It's seemingly dark enough for bed, so let's go get that attended to. I like how it shows the setting sun even when it's snowy. And I think we're running a dry on diorite. Also, I'm not feeling the most comfortable with this nerd pole in the middle of the second floor of the gazebo, so let us get that addressed. Rest of it looks good. Probably don't need the bones for now. Keep the rest. Also, I did build my castle a while ago, so it doesn't look like the most architecturally consistent castle. If you have specific suggestions for how to improve this castle, please comment them and I might consider adopting your suggestions. If I do, I will give you a big call out. in the video where we just deal with random terraform with snow, and then I see a building that's literally plopped on top of snow, it really irks me out. And I think that's because snow is not supposed to be structurally sound, and in real life, this on the windows. Just asking. I think that's better, yeah. Actually, these, it's looking a bit too flat. Let's just add these foot and try to be consistent. Oh, I just realized that there's actually a column. Okay, that's hilarious. So my intuition was correct. There was supposed to be something here. Great. That's how forgetful I could be sometimes. Also, I don't know why Wonder Traders don't despawn, but it's so weird. Some gazebo is looking so rudimentary. Makes the building feel really reinforced because now the columns seem close to 2 blocks wide. Sorry, looks around 2 blocks, closer to 3 blocks. It's adding a lot more shade to the windows, and it's pretty symmetrical, so I like it. Ooh, I almost tripped. The second floor done. We're going to end this workday early because I don't think there's enough time for me to access the roof and get started on that. And the lights turned blue, so it's time to go to bed. Alright. Alright, we're almost out of diorite. That actually rhymes. That's so funny. A lot of these are just boxes that used to contain a large amount of diorite and don't anymore. But here we got this box, which we can move to the site, since that's where it'll be demanded more. We need 2 stacks of stairs, because we'll be doing the fancy stuff with the windows. Have 1 stack. And some technical issues, so my recording was cut off, but this is approximately how much we have done. We will be leaving doing the 4th floor and the roof to the next video, so it's actually about 1.5 buildings, and this one's also about 1.5 buildings, so it's more even out. Otherwise, the next one will only have 1 building worth of content, and that's not really enough to cut it for one of my videos. Now, getting back to the topic of building, we need to detail out this crazy window pattern, which means more diorite walls. Where are my diorite walls? They are not here. I'll cut them. Oh, they are here. That's so hilarious. And I gotta pack up some blackstone because I don't know how much blackstone I would end up using. Let's get ourselves upstairs first. This is what it looks like upstairs. It's not complete, but we are going somewhere. Okay, that's strange. I got so much practice doing this. I have off decorated windows. I keep forgetting that I do not have haste here because I am also working on north lithos, the north side of upper lithos to be precise, and welp, there's haste there. I mean, the reason why I had to have haste at a building site, which I might show next the episode after we finish the academy, is because I was trying to clean up the terrain, because amplified terrain can do all sorts of dirty tricks with you, and it's up to you to figure it out and get it sorted, let's say. This amplified terrain is very bizarre. It's sometimes good, and sometimes it's just a bit of a pain in the back, so I usually keep the good terrain. But the ones that give me back pain, well, I have to do something with those. And that something is usually something I do with haste, which is to clean them up. I just realized my FPS is low because I didn't plug my computer in, so let me just do that real quick. And we're back to address the material shortage. And I brought my stuff with me. Let's just set these out here. I didn't know what I was doing. I really like how majestic this hole is starting to look. And if you're curious how I get ideas for my episodes, they are pretty much just whatever I feel like it. I don't really have an idea about what I'm going to be doing until like we are almost at the point of the episode. Like I plan approx just a few days in advance. So if you want to ask me what's episode 100 going to be, I will honestly tell you that I do not know. It's not, but let me get off here first. That's the fast way down. And it look very majestic from the outside, which is good. Following up the spiral staircase, we can place ourselves back on the 3rd floor. You wanted to go up mainly because we want to access the 4th floor for the roof that surrounds every floor, the one that's done in black stone. This is all super tentative, and honestly I'm just gonna nerd code to get out here. I really look forward to the next episode where we'll actually be planning out how the roof goes in real time. That'd be so fun. What's the FPS? Why is it looking laggy sometimes? It's probably just freezing randomly. It's not exactly like the FPS is horrendous. It's usable. Curious, does this chisel offer any new blackstone? Yes, it does. Just curious. Because I'm gonna stick with this classic one. Have a bad feeling we're going to run out of blocks way too quickly for comfort. Let's cut up some for these. I gotta be careful up here because a fall from this height is actually non-trivial even though I have feather falling. It's not gonna be bad, but it's gonna be a bit shitty to get back up, if you get what I'm saying. Now let's pull up the pattern that we did for the lower floors. Not this pattern, this pattern. And let's repeat it. And we're completely done. I actually speedrun this part of the build faster than I expected, but at least now if we look from the outside, all 3 stories look complete, and there seems to be quite a big tower going up over there. Because of the aspect ratio, I might build a 4th floor and build a tower on the 5th. I'm not completely sure yet, but we look forward to exploring all of this with you in the next one. See you here. That's it for this episode. Working break to get the resources necessary for finishing the construction, we are back with that's an empty one. A lot of material, and I found ancient debris in the process, but I don't know what material to use, what tool to use it on. Sorry, I'm struggling with my words today. So we definitely have enough diorite to finish this building off. This building, I want to do a normal building for the first 2 floors and then create an arch pattern because architects like arches. So there's that. Let me get my stone cutter. And we'll be essentially following along with the pattern that we've started like the last episode. This tree would have to be sacrificed. I ain't got the patience. So this building will be the main building for the classes in the academy. So Yes, it's built on slightly higher ground, and we would have the arch, which will be the symbolic landmark that will be built on top of 2 stories of classrooms, and the arch would be the place where celebrities give speeches so that everybody across the campus can hear it. Let's just say this. Come in with a truckload of basalt to fix up the flooring here. Conveniently slicing it into multiple sections. And I'm planning for there to be staircase in the middle and classrooms to each side. One thing about these floors is they use up like so much material. And nope, basalt slabs do not exist, so all of this is a faux block. If only there were basalt slabs. That would be so convenient. And I would love basalt stairs to use for the roof every day to finish the flooring. Okay, that's so embarrassing because I thought it's a 5 wide building. It ends up being a 4 wide, like 4 sections. Now what do we do? I assume there will be 2 doors now. I have to shift this a bit. That's a lot of shulker boxes. Sounds empty. I would imagine that these are very large lecture halls, and that there will be stairs that go along the lecture hall to bring to the 2nd floor. But for the 2nd floor, we only do this on the side. So there are 2 smaller lecture halls. The big one just gets a bit of a high ceiling for part of it. we can do the classic drill with the chiseling patterns. Because I'm lazy. Let's sacrifice another tree because this is stopping the leaves from decaying. And it's getting stuck in my window. As simple as that. Not happy. Tempted to make these stairs too wide. Just do this. That works as well. Is this on horizons on? Why does the horizon seem so empty? It is on. Very strange. I turned this on. I don't know why it's not fixing. Fortunately, we're focusing on near ground stuff, so this time horizon is a choice, not a necessity. But today, just let us finish with the first floor, shall we? Gather spruce and be ready to spruce something up a bit, pun intended. First floor is done. Now let's do a second floor, which means a lot more diorite. I gather now it's 8,000. It used to be like 9,000 diorite for this project. Don't get me wrong, the blocks are cool, but hey, I just like diorite. Oh yeah, we have something called blackstone frame that we also have to do. That is how mindless I am recently, unfortunately. Life has been a bit rough on me in some aspects. But it's gonna be alright, because Minecraft makes everything feel alright. That's one of the things I love about Minecraft. Like, ditch it. Whatever happens, in real life, no matter how messed up, you can still play Minecraft, and Minecraft won't judge you on how messed up whatever happens outside of Minecraft is. And that's one of the things I love about Minecraft, because I get to be as normal and carefree as I would wish to be in this game. Being an adult means a lot of responsibility and worries and stress and that kind of crazy stuff. But playing Minecraft means I just get to be in the moment and not over obsess about something. So I like playing Minecraft for this reason. Make sure that this angle looks alright from a distance. It does. Okay, good. Because I haven't really tried it with a 3 wide section, so I was testing the waters. The ice is making this so frustratingly annoying. This process is turning out to be much more grindy than I thought. I will see you when the first two floors are fully grounded out, and we'll do the exciting part together. 2 stories done. We are ready to start the custom roof. Let us first grab some diorite to outline it, and then we will be supporting it using basalt. To be honest, I don't have complete confidence as to what I want to achieve out of this. More stairs, please. So let's just play by the ear and see how it goes, shall we? But first we need a way to get up there. So up here, let's first get the flooring done, which means I want even more basalt. Let's do the other side for symmetry's sake. Let's do the flooring now. Again, we'll partition it based on the basalt pattern thingy. Next, again, we will line all these up with smooth basalt. And a bit more. And now we can introduce the pattern back again. we finally prepared this for doing the giant arch. So we can start the foundation of the arch here. Actually don't want one single arch, we want this many big arches. See what we can make of this. The arch kind of bulge inward. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tall. 2, 3, 4, 5. I am aware it's getting dark. Let me just finish this design really quickly. Where's the aurora? That's interesting. I never saw this before. It's complementary shaders. I didn't really see aurora until now. Or was I not paying attention? Tell me in the comments below. I like how this looks. Let's repeat this. If I could. 2, 3, 4. Stare. Stare. Invert it right side up. Three, 4. So excited to see how this turns out, you know. Like, if you ask me how would this turn out, I can't even give you an answer. Let me just be direct. So that's what makes building fascinating. Two, 3, 4. Out of diorite stairs again. Also want to decorate it with some black stone as well, so it's not just a blob of white. So I just grabbed some black stone walls and let's see how they could be put on to enhance the look. I was thinking about replacing these with basalt. Like this. I like how this goes. I was thinking about putting these into walls instead. It doesn't look as thick. This breaks the ratio somehow. I think this works pretty well. What do you think? Tell me down below. Just checking if my recording is still going as expected, because I am unfortunately obnoxiously known for a lot of technological failures. And these things are kind of embarrassing, so I usually try to avoid my tech failing. Let's get that right walls in our next trip, but let me finish this first. Why is this not symmetrical? This is so weird. roof. I had to shift everything to one side by a bit. That's fine. So we can see what they have on top. And I'm thinking about that being kind of like a prototype that they're doing. A prototype that they're trying to experiment with, because that's what this architecturally oriented art school is pushing for. I can easily imagine like new architectural innovations of sorts. So it'd be quite reasonable that they're using this rooftop as kind of like a testing ground for their new ideas. And it'll be even more law accurate if we actually include this idea of this spade-shaped arch in some newer building that we do in the future. That would make the law come full circle. They're trying to experiment with stuff, and they're trying to apply the successful products to the other builds. And I imagine them using basalt as a filler material, since it is cheap, to do a makeshift roof of sorts that goes between the columns. Actually, I want stairs, so I'm going to go with polished black stone for now and see how it goes. Actually, you know what? Let me start from the top here and get the rib of it done. They're using different material to Academy since this is like more temporary of sorts. And then they're trying to do something avant-garde with this. And this is why there are what looks like windows. We need more blackstone. Exactly 30 blackstone, please. That's cool. Lamau. It's deceptive enough. And this black blue. Great. Ourselves 30. I just picked one up, it's fine. Yep, accidents happen. And then we need to figure out what arches go that support the roof in the middle. Let's try with some diorite. I should have made these taller. I like this arch. Let's take it without. To add some more depth into the picture. Good. We've got something. I need like 3, 4, 5, exactly 5 diorite walls, please. Actually, might as well get a bit more just because we have to figure out how to fence the rooftop, because doing custom buildings on rooftops is cool and all that, but we don't want anyone falling off the roof. Let's just say it directly. Yeah, and that's this building complete. Let's get a shot from somewhere further away after we slept through the night. And from a distance, it looks like a custom roof, but if you look closely, it's actually a building, which is what makes it super freaking cool. To be honest, I would say that it uses styro a bit too heavily compared to the bottom of the actual classroom building. So I am going to try to add some more black stone to it so the blacks and the whites balance out better. The first attempt I would make would be to replace the middle with basalt. And then the next step would be add some quote-unquote wings. The building to offer some shade from the sun and some place to hide from the rain, let's say. And a bigger place to put some lanterns on. And like I don't really care if the building up here is so wonky. It's the avant-garde stuff they're trying out in the rooftops first. So it's okay if it's not perfect, which is one thing I like about doing this part of the city. Sorry. Now let's get up here to get a good perspective. It actually looks nice because it has its own character. So that essentially marks the completion of the Royal Academy. It is definitely a project that took some time, but I feel like I've grown a lot as an architect from building this architectural school. So we'll leave this series on this high note, and I will see you on the next one where we figure out some more buildings in Lower Lithos.